Hey, 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 what it do? Make that like button blue. Sub if you new. Hey, what it do? Make that like button blue. Sub if you new.
This video is sponsored by Fandom. Celebrate your fandom with incredible merch from your favorite movies, shows, and games. Whether you're a fan of Spider-Man, Star Wars, or Demon Slayer, they've got you covered. With free worldwide shipping and discounts of up to 60% off. Click the link in the description and use my code SADAT for 10% off your next order. Hello, salutations. What it do? It's Dr. Gamer, all father Durag. Yeah, you know the vibes. Like and subscribe. Let's get it. And today, I'm once again bringing you a Marvel's Avengers build video. This time is going to be Hawkeye. Now, Hawkeye has a special place in my heart because it is the first Marvel's Avengers video that I made for this channel and the first video that propelled me to where I am today. Now, just like in March, this is a bag of tricks Hawkeye build. It is still the best way to play Hawkeye by far, but this build is going to be a little bit different than how I played it. For one, I'm using the brand new status effect Sonic that came with the War for Wakanda update, and I'm going with a more Valor heavy build so that I can really take advantage of his powerful heroics. Now, before we get into it, once again, make sure you smash that like button. It helps me out a ton. It only takes a second. Also, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 8,000 subs. We are more than halfway there. If we hit 8K subs by November 30th, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for a PlayStation gift card so that you can get yourself some Spider-Man skins. So if you want some free Spider-Man items from the marketplace, help me get to 8K subs by November 30th. That is when the Spider-Man DLC drops, as well as the Klaw raid, which is what I made this build for. I know a bunch of guys have been asking for builds that you can take to the raid with, and others have been asking for my Hawkeye build. So once again, the central playstyle isn't different. Press triangle, you win. Hawkeye is very powerful because he is the best character in the game at spreading status effects, and that bag of tricks is just so freaking powerful. Now for the heroics, the recovery arrow allows Hawkeye to act as a healer. Critical care, all heroes affected by the nanobots have a 20% increased critical attack chance and 20% greater weak point and critical attack damage. Strong medicine increases the initial amount of willpower recovered by 75% and the amount recovered over time by 100%. Now for the assault heroic, we're going with Fire Devil. Night Storm arrow projectiles are equipped with high yield explosives that create a vortex of fire inside the bombardment zone, dealing plasma damage and launching enemies into the air. Now, the reason you're going with Fire Devil here is because I'm using a cold status effect on the split shot. The battery effect is very important in this game and is essential to Hawkeye's playstyle. So because I have Sonic on my split shot, that is a cold status effect. For the assault heroic, I want to go with Fire Devil because plasma is a warm status effect. Now, if I had the opposite on my split shot, like Pym or Vibranium, then I would go with one of these, either Hailstorm or Ion Surge, because Shock and Cryo are cold status effects. So you want to keep that in mind when you're putting any of your characters together and trying to deal some status damage. Over here we have Strike Point, increases the status buildup for all damage dealt by the Night Storm arrow by 30%. This basically makes it so that when I drop the Night Storm arrow, it will fill up the enemy status meter with plasma 30% faster, which is very useful for quickly applying the battery effect. I'm going with Twin Talons. Fire 200 arrows charged with electricity, increasing the overall damage dealt and applying shock damage to all affected targets. Now, this is another great way of applying status effect. The Twin Talons are going to fly all over the battlefield, hitting enemies and putting shock on them. And we're pairing that with Hunter's Resolve, recovers 5% willpower each time the Hunter's arrow hits an enemy. The Hunter's arrow hits enemies a lot. So while this is active, it's incredibly hard for you to take any real damage because the arrows are hitting all the time. So anytime you take damage, you're going to be healing a lot. Over on the mastery side, Stunning Show increases stun damage of all melee attacks by 20%. Hawkeye doesn't have any real good alternatives here, and Stunning Show also just happens to be really good. Hawkeye does have some pretty strong melee attacks, it's just his range is so much better. But if you want to quickly generate a takedown so you can get a heroic orb, you can do some quick sword attacks, and because of Stunning Show, the stun meter is going to fill up incredibly fast and you're going to be able to do takedowns and get a heroic orb. Sharp Fragments increases the damage inflicted by split shot by 50%, no brainer. And Heroic Burst, performing a takedown, that is how you're going to be generating orbs with the takedowns. You should have this checked off on all your heroes. These two trees don't matter all because I'm mainly using split shot, so you can do what you want, but I recommend keeping ensnared targets. Increases the damage inflicted by both regular and charged cluster arrows by 20%. Cluster arrows are a part of your bag of tricks combo, so you definitely want that extra 20%. This tree doesn't matter, but I have on parting gifts. Using the Swordsman's Prodigy ability attaches an explosive charge that detonates after the attack. That is just heavy intrinsic. I pretty much never use this. Energy boost increases the base regeneration speed of intrinsic energy by 25%. Volatile rockets increases rocket arrow damage by 25%. None of these matter, so you can put whatever you want. Multi-talented increases melee attack damage by 20% and ranged attack damage by 10% while overcharged. Heroic Resolve, while overcharged, defeating enemies has a 15% chance to spawn heroic orbs. And Critical Might increases critical attack damage by 20% while overcharged. You overcharge pretty fast with this build. All you have to do is keep hitting enemies with the split shot combo without getting hit. Over on the champion tree, once again, it has not been adjusted, so doesn't do a whole lot. But if you want to give yourself a small boost, the trees that you want to be focusing on are critical damage boost, critical chance boost, heroic charge rate boost, and perk chance boost, as well as fortification boost. Those are the main trees that you want to be prioritizing when you're applying your champion points. Now to the actual gear. Once again, this is both a ranged and valor focused build. Here are the stats: 280 valor, 186 precision, 116 proficiency, 53 might, 128 resolve, 98 resilience, and 55 intensity. But what makes the build really good is, of course, the gear and the perks. Faultless Pulse Edge rolled with proficiency, resilience, and might. The important thing here is Split Shot Scream. Split Shot Arrow inflicts sonic damage. If you're using a Bag of Tricks build, then you want to have a perk that gives you a status effect on your Split Shot Arrow. I'm using Sonic with this build. Sonic is incredibly powerful. Not only does it stun enemies, making them susceptible to takedowns, it also gives you and your team a boost to the heroic charge and intrinsic meter when you're standing near them. This is by far my favorite status effect in the game. Rest of the perks don't really matter at all. Stat wise, I would prefer to have precision and valor, but unfortunately all Sonic and Vibranium gear, which can only be found in Wakanda, have locked stats. You don't have a chance of rolling valor or precision on your melee piece. I don't like it. I don't like lock stats. Many people have told the devs they don't like lock stats, but for some reason they're going to continue doing that for the time being. That's just going to be the same thing with the raid. Hopefully they will eventually listen and change this. Target buff you can get from anywhere, but I got this in Wakanda because I knew it would have precision, intensity, and proficiency, which is all you can get on the range pieces, which is perfectly fine for a ranged build. The most important perk is target buff. 34% chance hitting an enemy with a ranged crit grants a damage buff. The damage buff is the most powerful perk in the entire game, so you definitely want to have this on all your builds. And if you have a range build, you want to have the targeted buff. Reactive Jarvis Barrier, 15% chance when taking damage to activate a Jarvis Barrier. The barrier protects against damage for 20% of maximum willpower. This basically puts up that ugly force field around yourself that absorbs incoming damage. It is by far the best defensive perk in the game. This drops rarely from chests, but if you play the 14th floor Last Avenger Standing, you're guaranteed to either get an exotic or a piece of gear that has Jarvis Barrier on it. Operatives Kit, this is part of Hawkeye's Operative Exotic set. You can get this from the weekly priority mission. Unfortunately, you're not going to get stats this high because I got this during a time when they were allowing exotics to drop with stats in the mid 70s and early 80s. But unfortunately, they rolled that back for some reason. But very good piece. Locked On Breaker, 20% increase in damage and impact while locked on is active. Increases recovery amplification, increases the amount of willpower recovered and duration of recovery arrow by 10 seconds. Locked On Resonance, 15% increase in willpower and heroic energy while locked on is active. Locked on is what of course happens when your intrinsic energy fills up and you go into overcharge. For the minor artifacts, I'm rolling with, of course, triple valor and the cosmic infinity. I got it with valor and resolve. I try to get this piece on all of my characters for that reactive cosmic surge. 14% chance taking damage grants the cosmic surge buff. Healing damage while the buff is active restores a small amount of willpower and heroic energy. That's what it says, but what it actually does is give you a boost to your willpower and heroic energy whenever you take damage. This is one of the best perks in the game. I highly recommend that you get it on your minor artifact. And for the major artifact, I'm going with the Nornstone Lethal Will. Since I have the targeted buff, I get a 6.9% increase critical attack chance when a damage buff is active. My damage buffs get a 4-second increase in duration, and I can pop the Tears offense to get another damage buff. So I'll do the Bag of Tricks combo until I trigger the target buff. Then I'll pop off Pierce Offense, and that will give me a double damage buff, which will give me a massive increase to my damage and allows me to melt enemies really fast. So that is the build. I am most likely taking this exact build into the Klaw raid on November 30th. Let me know how it works out for you. I found it to be incredibly powerful and I like exactly where it is right now. Make sure you like and subscribe if this video helped you out at all. I'll leave you with a little more gameplay after this. I'm Stock the Gamer, signing out.
It's opening!
What the hell is that? Super adaptoid. Defend Project Omega.
As you wish, Dr. Ravashini.
Okay, yikes. Looks like this new killbot is a big Avengers fan. The shield, the hammer. Gonna guess you've got some rockets hiding back there?
Kate, AIM has control of the bridge. We can't open it again unless we get it back.